weeks now about my son, and I've had to sit quietly and listen to it all. So now I'd like to say a few things. The people around Kempsey are called the Dungay people, and my son David Jr. was a proud Dungay warrior. Never forget that. I'll say it again. We are all proud Dungay warriors. I could see it in his eyes, in the way he moved, right from when he was just a toddler. David was born in Kempsey at Old Burnt Bridge Mission on Pipers Creek Road in 1989, and he was my youngest son. He was dearly loved by his two older siblings, Ernie and Christine, and also his younger sister, Cynthia. He was very loyal, always there for his brother and sisters whenever they needed him, and he was a kind and loving son to me. He was happy-go-lucky, always thinking about how to make other people happy. We will never forget the joy he brought us all. At 5 years old, he started playing football for the Sharks in Port Macquarie. And at 7 years old, he was diagnosed with diabetes. This was a very difficult time for him and for all of us, learning how to live with this condition. I became his nurse and gave him all his injections. We had a good relationship with Dr. McDonald at Port Macquarie Hospital, who taught us about how to give the insulin needles, and I became his diabetes educator too. As he got older, Junior learnt as he grew up how to take responsibility for his condition. He carried jelly beans and Jats crackers around just in case his blood sugar became low. This condition was a constant burden, but Junior was also very knowledgeable about diabetes and proud of his ability to manage it independently. He impressed his high school teachers, who always gave him praise and encouragement. He completed the Year 10 certificate successfully, something we are very proud of, as many of our Koori boys don't make it this far. After David left school, he got a job with CDEP. It was a government-funded program for Aboriginal youth. He used to mow lawns and collect rubbish. He worked a couple of days a week and got paid. It was very hard for young adults who've just left school in Kempsey, especially if you're black, to find employment, but David was keen to do it, and he was growing into a lovely young man. Later, David made some bad mistakes, as all humans do, and was locked up for this. He did his time, and he paid his debt to society. He was determined to come out and start a new life, and he was so close to being free and being with us all again. I have nothing against all you lawyers in your expensive suits who all went to good schools here in Sydney. You've all worked hard to get where you are, but let's face facts. You have no idea about what it is like to grow up as an Aboriginal person in this country. Imagine a game of footy like David used to play, but one team has to play with their arms tied behind their backs. This is how our family feels. That's what racism and discrimination feels like for us. Next, I want to share with you all some stories about my son David and what he meant to our family. My family has had to sit here for 3 weeks, stretching over 9 months, listening to the police, the prison guards, the doctors, and the nurses, and the experts all go on like my son was an aggressive animal, which is all lies. But just this week, we all heard his voice on the phone call that he made to his beautiful sister standing here just an hour and 22 minutes before he died. He was kind, loving, caring, and beautiful.
Man. Why? Why? Why?
This is the son, the brother, and the uncle that we all knew and loved. When we learned of my son's death, we were all in shock. No mother or family should have to feel the pain of burying a son or loved one and then watching how he died, begging to breathe. The pain has stayed with us all for over 3 years now.